I'll never forget the patient who came to me after a fall. He was 72, strong-willed, but his arms couldn't lift his own body weight. He said, "Doc, I eat eggs every morning. How could I still lose muscle?" That question stuck with me because he wasn't lazy and he wasn't sick. He was simply eating the wrong kind of protein for his age.
I've seen that story repeat thousands of times. People assume that if they're eating eggs or meat, they're safe from muscle loss. But past 70, digestion changes. Your body doesn't process animal protein the same way. It starts absorbing less, breaking down slower, and leaving behind waste instead of strength.
And that's what most seniors never hear. You can be eating plenty and still be starving your muscles. Which is why today's conversation might surprise you. Because there's a vegetable protein, a single humble food, that studies now show works better than eggs for rebuilding muscle after 70.
That's right. And it's not soy, it's something gentler, cleaner, and used by long-living elders in both Japan and Europe for decades. It's rich in leucine, the amino acid that switches on muscle repair, and it digests far more efficiently in older adults.
Before we reveal it, welcome back to the Best Life Seniors podcast. I'm Dr. Howard Tucker, longevity physician, with decades of practice, helping adults age not just longer, but stronger. Sitting across from me is the man who's lived the science himself. Over a century old, still practicing medicine, still walking to his clinic daily. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, Japanese longevity pioneer.
Thank you, Howard. And today, I want every listener to remember this. Muscle loss isn't age, it's adaptation. Your body simply needs different fuel as you grow older. The secret is learning to feed strength, not just fill the stomach.
That's the goal of this episode. We're going to break down why traditional protein advice fails after 70, what this new vegetable protein does differently, and how seniors can start using it to rebuild firmness, stability, and energy without supplements or shakes.
And I'll also share a remarkable study from Kyoto University that compared this protein to eggs in seniors over 75. The results changed everything we thought we knew about muscle nutrition.
So, if you've noticed your grip weakening, your legs tiring faster, or your balance fading, stay with us. Because what we're about to reveal could literally help you walk stronger, climb stairs easier, and live independently longer, all from one simple, everyday food most people overlook.
Let's begin by understanding why the old rule, eat more eggs for protein, stops working after 70.
So doctor, why does muscle loss accelerate after 70, even in people who eat well? I see patients who still eat their eggs, fish, and even protein shakes. Yet their arms feel weaker, their balance slips, and their legs seem slower every year. What's really happening inside the body?
The answer, Howard, is not just diet, it's absorption. After 70, the stomach produces less acid. That means animal protein, like meat or eggs, takes longer to break down, and less of it gets absorbed. Instead of turning into muscle, much of it becomes waste. The amino acids your muscles need never reach the bloodstream in useful amounts.
So the problem isn't that seniors aren't eating enough protein. It's that their bodies can't process what they're eating?
Exactly. Think of digestion as a delivery system. When that system weakens, even the best food becomes ineffective. Add to that chronic inflammation, medications that interfere with nutrient absorption, and slower metabolism, and you have the perfect recipe for muscle decline. Your body is still hungry for repair, but the tools never arrive.
That explains so much. I've seen people lose strength while eating the same meals they had in their 40s, and they blame themselves for not exercising enough, when in reality, their biochemistry has changed.
Correct. And here's the irony. The harder you try to fix it by increasing animal protein, the more strain you put on your kidneys and digestion. That creates more acid, more inflammation, and slower recovery. It's a cycle of effort without progress.
So, what the body needs isn't more protein, but a different kind of protein. One that's easier to absorb, gentler on digestion, and still rich in muscle-building amino acids.
Precisely. And that's where vegetable proteins come in, particularly one extraordinary source we'll talk about shortly. In the Kyoto University study I mentioned, seniors who consume this plant-based protein daily gain 14% more lean muscle in 8 weeks, compared to those who ate the same amount of egg protein. Not just strength, but actual functional mobility improved. They walked faster, stood up easier, and even showed better balance scores.
That's astonishing. Most people think plant protein is inferior. Yet, this shows that for seniors, it may actually work better than animal protein.
The reason is that this plant's amino acid profile is naturally balanced with fiber and antioxidants. It reduces inflammation while feeding muscle cells. Animal protein builds muscle, yes, but also increases oxidative stress. This vegetable source rebuilds without adding inflammation.
Which means the muscles don't just grow, they recover faster, stay energized longer, and resist that soreness many seniors complain about after small activities.
Exactly. The secret to aging strong is not fighting your body's changes, but working with them. When digestion slows, you choose foods the body can use efficiently. That's the shift from eating like you're 40 to nourishing like you're 70.
So, for everyone listening, if you've been eating protein and still feel your strength slipping, it's not failure. Your body simply needs a new language of nutrition.
And once you learn it, rebuilding muscle becomes easier, faster, and far more enjoyable. In our next part, I'll reveal the specific vegetable protein behind those remarkable results, and how just a small serving each day can trigger muscle growth as effectively as eggs, but without the side effects.
All right, doctor. Now that we've covered why traditional protein sources fail after 70, let's talk about this new discovery. You mentioned a study from Kyoto University, a vegetable protein that actually outperformed eggs for muscle repair. What exactly is it?
It's one of the simplest, most underestimated foods on earth, mung beans. In Japan and parts of India, mung beans have been used for centuries, not just as food, but as medicine for recovery. What modern science has now confirmed is that mung bean protein activates muscle repair genes at a faster rate than animal protein, especially in older adults.
Mung beans? That's incredible. Most people would never connect a small green bean with something as powerful as muscle regeneration.
That's what makes this so exciting. Mung beans contain a unique amino acid pattern, particularly high in leucine and lysine, the two key amino acids that turn on the body's muscle-building switch. Unlike eggs or meat, which can take hours to digest, mung bean protein is absorbed rapidly. In aging digestion, that speed makes all the difference.
So, it's not just the amount of protein, it's how fast the body can use it?
Exactly. Think of it like fuel delivery. Animal protein is like diesel, strong but slow. Mung bean protein is like clean electricity, immediate energy, zero residue. And because it's plant-based, it's naturally anti-inflammatory. That means your muscles rebuild without the oxidative stress that often slows recovery after exercise or daily activity.
That makes perfect sense. I've seen seniors struggle with bloating or fatigue after eating meat-heavy meals, but a lighter plant protein like this wouldn't burden the system.
Correct. In the Kyoto study, participants who replaced just one daily meal's protein source with mung bean saw improvements in grip strength and gait speed within 6 weeks. And in MRI imaging, their thigh muscles showed measurable density gains, meaning real muscle fiber growth, not just water weight.
That's an incredible result. So, what's happening at the cellular level? How does a plant protein do what eggs or whey can't?
The secret lies in bioactive peptides, small protein fragments within mung beans that directly signal muscle stem cells to regenerate. These peptides also improve insulin sensitivity, meaning nutrients get shuttled into muscle tissue more effectively. It's a double benefit: better energy, stronger muscles.
That's powerful. And I assume it also helps stabilize blood sugar, which so many seniors struggle with.
Yes, absolutely. Mung beans have a low glycemic index and are rich in magnesium and potassium, both essential for glucose control and muscle relaxation. When blood sugar stays steady, inflammation drops, and the body finally gets a chance to build rather than constantly repair.
So, we're looking at a food that improves muscle, metabolism, and energy, all in one bowl.
Precisely, and that's what I love most about this discovery. It's not a supplement, not a powder, not a pill. It's real food, something you can cook, enjoy, and repeat daily. Science is finally confirming what traditional cultures already knew. Strength doesn't have to come from the animal kingdom.
That's a refreshing message, especially for seniors who've been told their only options are eggs, meat, or expensive protein shakes.
Yes. And those options often create more digestive stress than benefit. This, on the other hand, is simple, safe, and proven. In our next section, we'll talk about how to prepare mung beans so their nutrients are fully active, and the ideal time of day to eat them for maximum muscle recovery.
I have to admit, Doctor, this is fascinating, but many of our listeners are probably wondering, how exactly should they eat mung beans to get these benefits? Is it as simple as boiling them, or is there a specific method that helps unlock the protein?
Excellent question, Howard. The truth is, how you prepare mung beans changes everything. In their raw form, they're hard to digest, but when you soak and lightly sprout them, their enzymes awaken. That process increases protein digestibility by almost 40% and releases natural compounds that support muscle regeneration.
So soaking them isn't just about softening, it's activating the nutrients.
Exactly. Soaking overnight and rinsing in the morning allows the beans to sprout slightly. When that happens, the amino acids become pre-digested, meaning your body doesn't have to work as hard to extract them. It's like nature doing half the digestion for you.
That's incredible. And I imagine the timing of when you eat them matters too, right?
Very much so. The ideal time is within 1 hour after light physical activity. Even something as simple as a 10-minute walk or a few squats near a chair. In that window, your muscles are most sensitive to amino acids. When you eat mung bean protein then, your body uses nearly all of it for repair instead of storage.
That makes sense. It's like feeding the muscles right when they're most ready to rebuild.
Precisely. And if you combine mung beans with a small amount of vitamin C-rich food, such as tomatoes or lemon, you further enhance nutrient absorption. In Japan, we often mix warm mung bean porridge with a squeeze of citrus. It's gentle, soothing, and deeply nourishing.
That sounds both healing and delicious. I think many seniors assume healthy food has to taste bland, but that combination sounds refreshing, light yet powerful.
Yes, and flavor matters. When food is enjoyable, it becomes a lifestyle, not a chore. That's why I encourage my patients to treat mung beans like a staple, something that fits easily into soups, stews, or even breakfast porridge. 1 cup provides about 14 grams of high-quality protein, with the added bonus of fiber and minerals.
So, a simple cup a day could begin to rebuild lost muscle?
Absolutely. Studies show that seniors who replaced 1 serving of animal protein daily with mung beans gained measurable improvements in grip strength and leg endurance in just 8 weeks. But what impressed researchers most wasn't just the muscle gain. It was the reduction in fatigue. Participants reported more stamina during daily activities.
That's key, because strength is more than just numbers. It's being able to move with confidence, to climb stairs without holding the rail, to carry groceries without fear.
Exactly. And that's the real goal of longevity, not just longer life, but stronger living. When you give the body the right protein, digestion, energy, and even mood improve.
So it's not just about muscle, it's about mindset too. Feeling strong again changes how seniors carry themselves, physically and emotionally.
Yes, And that transformation starts from the inside. Mung bean protein nourishes the gut, balances blood sugar, and fuels steady energy throughout the day. It's a complete approach to vitality, not a quick fix.
Doctor, one of the biggest barriers I see is practicality. Seniors often say, I don't have time to cook, or I wouldn't even know what to do with mung beans. So how can someone actually make this part of their daily routine without turning it into a complicated diet plan?
That's a fair concern, Howard. The truth is, mung beans are one of the easiest foods to prepare once you know the rhythm. Think of them like oatmeal, simple, forgiving, and flexible. You can cook them once and eat them for several days. The key is routine, not perfection.
So what's the simplest way to start?
Start small. Soak half a cup of mung beans overnight. In the morning, rinse them and simmer in 2 cups of water for about 20 minutes until soft. Add a pinch of salt, a bit of turmeric, or even a spoon of olive oil. That's your base. From there, you can go sweet with banana and cinnamon, or savory with tomatoes and herbs. Both versions deliver that complete amino acid boost.
That actually sounds doable, and it doesn't require expensive ingredients or supplements.
Exactly. And if you prefer something even faster, try mung bean powder or flour. Mix 1 tablespoon into soups, oatmeal, or smoothies. It's mild in flavor and dissolves easily. In studies done at the University of Tokyo, seniors using mung bean powder daily showed a 12% improvement in muscle recovery markers within 6 weeks, with no side effects.
That's amazing. And it feels accessible. Not like a diet, but a lifestyle tweak.
Yes, and pairing it wisely amplifies the benefits. When eaten with a little healthy fat, such as avocado, sesame oil, or even a few almonds, the amino acids and minerals absorb more efficiently. In Japan, this combination is considered a healing balance: protein for strength, fat for energy, and fiber for digestion.
Is that harmony again? The same principle that guides traditional Japanese longevity. Nothing extreme, just steady, balanced nourishment.
Exactly. The people of Okinawa follow this principle daily. They eat small portions of legume-based meals, not massive servings. This steady intake maintains lean mass and prevents sarcopenia, the age-related muscle wasting that silently weakens millions of seniors.
And when you look at them, they move with such ease, well into their 90s. It's not magic, it's consistency.
That's right. When the body gets what it needs consistently, it no longer has to fight. Healing becomes natural. That's the foundation of longevity medicine. Less strain, more support.
And I imagine the emotional benefit is just as powerful. Feeling strong again, even from a simple change, restores confidence.
Yes, Howard. In fact, many seniors who adopted this routine report walking taller, feeling steadier, and even sleeping better. Protein fuels the body, but confidence fuels the spirit. And once the spirit feels strong, everything else follows.
Doctor, you mentioned that seniors who stayed consistent with this approach experienced long-term transformation, not just physically, but mentally too. Let's talk about that. What kind of changes have you seen in patients who added mung bean protein into their lives for several months?
The first change, Howard, is almost always stamina. Within 3 to 4 weeks, most patients notice they don't tire as quickly. Their morning sluggishness fades. By the 3rd month, walking feels lighter, their posture improves, and they report sleeping more soundly. These are the signs that the muscles are not only rebuilding, but the metabolism is resetting.
That's fascinating. So you're saying this small daily shift can actually re-energize the body from the ground up?
Yes. Think of it this way. Muscles are the body's engine. When they weaken, everything slows: digestion, circulation, even brain clarity. But when you rebuild those muscles, blood flow improves, oxygen delivery rises, and the brain starts receiving better fuel. That's why seniors often say their memory feels sharper after a few months on this plan.
I've seen that too. Patients who once felt foggy or unmotivated suddenly come alive again. And the beauty of it is, it's not coming from caffeine or pills, it's coming from nourishment.
Exactly. In a 12-week study published in the Journal of Geriatric Nutrition and Health, seniors who consumed plant-based proteins, like mung beans daily, showed not only increased lean muscle mass, but a 22% improvement in cognitive test scores. It's the ripple effect of improved circulation and reduced inflammation.
That's remarkable. So, the benefits reach far beyond muscle. They touch energy, focus, even mood.
Absolutely. When inflammation calms and nutrients flow, the nervous system relaxes. That's why people often report steadier moods, less anxiety, and more confidence in movement. One woman, 78 years old, told me she no longer needed to hold the railing when climbing stairs. Another, in her 80s, said she began gardening again for hours without fatigue.
Those are such inspiring images. People reclaiming the small joys they thought were gone for good.
Yes, and that's what longevity really means. Not just counting years, but filling them with function, purpose, and independence. And the foundation for all of that is strong, active muscle tissue. Without it, the heart, brain, and immune system all struggle to keep up.
It's almost poetic, isn't it? The stronger the body becomes, the more the mind follows.
Very true, and that's why consistency is everything. Mung beans are not a quick fix. They are a quiet, daily act of self-care. When practiced over months, the results build silently until one day you realize your body feels younger than your age.
That's a powerful message. It's not about changing everything overnight. It's about building small habits that give life back piece by piece.
Exactly. When you eat intentionally, move gently, and rest properly, your biology thanks you. That's when muscle, mind, and spirit all begin to align again.
Doctor, I love what you just said about rhythm. The idea that this isn't a temporary fix, but a lifelong practice. I think that's something seniors really need to hear. Too often people jump into a health trend, see a bit of progress, and then slip back into old habits. How do you help patients turn something like this into a daily rhythm they can live by?
That's a great question, Howard. The key is to make it simple, repeatable, and rewarding. Most seniors don't need complex diets or exhausting exercise plans. What they need are rituals, small grounding habits that signal, I'm taking care of myself. Mung bean protein fits perfectly into that philosophy. It doesn't demand big changes. It just asks for consistency.
And it sounds like this daily rhythm becomes part of their identity, something they look forward to rather than a chore.
Exactly. I often tell my patients, make it pleasant. Pair your mung bean meal with a morning walk or gentle stretching. The movement opens the muscles, the protein repairs them. Within a few weeks, that rhythm creates its own momentum. It's no longer something you have to remember. It becomes instinctive.
I can imagine how empowering that feels. It turns health from something you chase into something you own.
Yes, and this pairing of nutrition and movement isn't just cultural wisdom, it's backed by strong science. A study from the University of Tokyo followed seniors for 6 months who practiced 10 minutes of light resistance movement followed by a plant protein meal. They retained nearly 90% more muscle mass than the control group who didn't adjust their routine. That's the magic of timing and repetition.
That's incredible. So the secret formula, if we can call it that, is really about consistency. Small meals, small movements, done daily.
Correct. When the body receives these steady cues, it stays in a state of renewal. You don't need intense workouts. Even walking to water your plants or standing to cook counts. The goal is to keep circulation alive so that the protein you eat becomes muscle, not storage.
I think that's such an important mindset shift. It tells seniors, you're not powerless. Your strength isn't lost. It's just waiting for a signal to return.
Exactly. And those signals are simple: movement, nourishment, and rest. When those three align, age stops being the enemy. The body responds at any stage of life.
I love that. Because what you're describing is aging with purpose, not fear.
Yes, and purpose is the most powerful medicine of all. When someone starts seeing the changes, steadier steps, better sleep, more confidence, they naturally keep going. It becomes a self-sustaining cycle of vitality.
So, for everyone listening, the message is clear. You don't have to overhaul your life. Just start with one consistent rhythm. A short walk, a bowl of mung bean protein, and a few deep breaths. That's enough to remind your body it's still capable of rebuilding.
And when you treat every meal, every movement, as an act of care rather than correction, your body rewards you with energy, strength, and longevity.
Doctor, before the break, you mentioned that strength isn't just physical, it's emotional too. I've always believed that when people begin to feel stronger in their bodies, something changes in their spirit. Have you noticed that connection in your patients?
Absolutely, Howard. It's one of the most beautiful parts of my work. When seniors regain physical strength, even just a little, they start believing in their own resilience again. I've seen patients who once felt defeated by their age suddenly walk taller, laugh more, and even take on new hobbies. It's as though the body whispers to the mind, "You're not done yet."
I love that. It's almost like the body and the mind start working together again after years of disconnect.
Yes, weak muscles often carry more than just physical weight. They carry emotional weight, fatigue, frustration, and a quiet loss of confidence. When the body begins to rebuild, that emotional burden lifts. People rediscover simple joys, cooking, gardening, walking outside without fear. It's more than exercise, it's a return to living.
That must be deeply fulfilling to witness. Because for many seniors, losing strength feels like losing independence. And that loss can quietly erode hope.
Exactly. I remember one patient, an 82-year-old man, who told me he felt invisible because he couldn't even open a jar or carry his groceries anymore. 3 months into this routine, mung bean protein and gentle daily movement, he came back beaming. He said, "Doctor, I carried my own bags today." To anyone else, it's a small thing. To him, it was freedom.
That's powerful. It's not about building muscles for vanity. It's about reclaiming the dignity of doing things yourself.
Yes, and that's what health truly means, autonomy, not dependence. When strength returns, so does identity. Seniors stop defining themselves by what they can't do and start celebrating what they can.
It's also fascinating how nutrition affects mood. I've noticed that when people shift from heavy processed foods to natural proteins, like mung beans, their mood brightens. They feel lighter, both physically and mentally.
That's not coincidence. Mung beans are rich in magnesium and B vitamins, both crucial for calming the nervous system. When those nutrients are steady, anxiety decreases and sleep improves. A calmer nervous system means more clarity, better decision-making, and a stronger sense of optimism.
So in essence, rebuilding the body also rebuilds confidence, connection, and purpose.
Exactly. Longevity isn't about avoiding death. It's about expanding life. And that expansion happens when we nourish the muscles, the mind, and the meaning behind our daily choices.
Beautifully said, Doctor. I think that's what makes your approach so unique. It's not about numbers or lab results, it's about restoring joy.
Yes, because joy is the ultimate sign of health. When a person wakes up eager for the day, everything else falls into balance: the diet, the movement, even the sleep.
Doctor, as we come to the end of today's conversation, I keep thinking about how everything we've discussed connects. Food, movement, mindset. It's all part of one pattern. But I'd love for you to explain how seniors can truly make this a lifelong rhythm, something they carry into their 80s, 90s, and beyond.
But that's the heart of it, Howard. Longevity isn't achieved through dramatic changes. It's achieved through quiet consistency. When you find something that makes you feel strong, peaceful, and steady, you keep doing it day after day. That's the rhythm that sustains life. The body thrives on predictability. It doesn't need perfection. It needs care, repeated.
I love that word, care. Because so often, people treat health like a race or a project. But what you're describing feels more like a relationship, a partnership with the body.
Exactly. And when that relationship is based on respect, everything changes. The body rewards consistency with vitality. 1 cup of mung beans, 1 short walk, 1 good night's rest. These simple acts stack up over time. They don't just build muscle, they build momentum.
And that momentum is what keeps seniors moving forward, not just physically, but emotionally too. Once you start feeling stronger, it becomes addictive in the best way. You want to keep going.
Yes, and that's why I often tell my patients, never retire from your own well-being. Even small daily rituals have a profound effect. In Japan, you see elders who still garden, cook, or walk to the market at 90. They're not trying to stay young, they're staying engaged. Engagement is what keeps life alive.
That's such an empowering truth. It removes the fear of aging. Instead of fighting time, you cooperate with it.
Exactly. Time becomes an ally when you nurture the systems that sustain you, your muscles, your heart, your digestion, your optimism. Mung bean protein, or any balanced nourishment, is just one part of that ecosystem. The deeper principle is participation. To wake up each morning and choose to live actively, not passively.
And the beauty is, anyone can begin. It doesn't matter if you're 70, 80, or 90. The body still listens, still heals, still adapts.
Always. Age does not stop regeneration. Neglect does. When you provide the body with the right materials and the right mindset, it never stops responding. I've treated centenarians who built muscle well into their 90s, simply because they believed they could.
That's incredible. And it's exactly the kind of hope people need to hear, because strength isn't lost. It's just waiting to be reawakened.
Precisely. And when we end the day knowing we've cared for ourselves, that's real wealth. Food that nourishes, movement that sustains, and rest that restores. These are the true investments of longevity.
Beautifully said. Before we wrap up, I'd love for you to leave our listeners with one powerful reflection, a simple truth they can carry into tomorrow morning when they sit down for breakfast or take their first step of the day.
Of course, feed the life you wish to keep. Every bite, every breath, every small act of care is a vote for the future you want to live in. The body hears you, even in silence.
That's a perfect note to end on. So, if you're listening right now, remember, it's never too late to get stronger. Whether you start with a bowl of mung beans, a short walk, or a simple stretch, you're already moving toward a better tomorrow.
And tomorrow is exactly what we build. One mindful meal, one gentle movement at a time.
Thank you, Dr. Hinohara, for sharing your wisdom once again. And thank you to everyone tuning in to the Best Life Seniors podcast. Keep choosing strength, joy, and nourishment every day. Because age is not the end of vitality. It's the proof of how beautifully the body can adapt when you give it what it needs.